Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to talk about an issue dealing with our national security. CNN reported this morning that the security situation in Yemen is rapidly deteriorating, making it a dangerous new haven for al-Qaeda and terrorists. This report is just the latest in a series of warnings about the security situation in Yemen. Earlier this week, Time magazine reported that about two-thirds of the country is out of government control and that al-Qaeda is turning the lawless mountain area of Yemen into a new staging area. According to press reports today, U.S. counterterrorism officials believe that al-Qaeda's presence in Yemen threatens to turn the country into a dangerous base for training and plotting attacks. In September 2008, al-Qaeda terrorists in Yemen attacked the U.S. Embassy with vehicle bombs, killing 10 guards and civilians. Since that time, al-Qaeda's posture in Yemen has grown stronger, with the merger of the Saudi and Yemeni arms of al-Qaeda into one group, al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula, with Yemen as its base for training and operation. We've seen the consequences of these developments. Last August, a Yemeni al-Qaeda loyalist detonated a suicide bomb in an attempt to kill Saudi Prince Mohammed bin Nayef. He was able to gain access to the prince by pretending to be an al-Qaeda defector before detonating the explosives. Despite this deteriorating situation, it was reported, and it's hard to believe, in Reuters on Monday, in an article I'm submitting for the record, that at least one detainee from Guantanamo Bay has been released to Yemen. Released to Yemen, where you can't control the country, and at least 26 others have been cleared to return, according to a list at the detention facility posted in Arabic and Pashto. What kind of policy is this, that the detainees, some who have killed American citizens at Guantanamo Bay, have a list of those that are being released, but not one member of Congress or the American people know anything about it and are kept in the dark? Most of these detainees were captured in Afghanistan and Pakistan in 2001 and 2002. They have spent 8 years living among the most dangerous terrorists in Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, the mastermind of the 9/11 attacks, who beheaded Daniel Pearl. In an attempt to meet this self-imposed deadline to close Guantanamo Bay next January, Eric Holder and the administration are prepared to release perhaps a third of its cleared detainees to Yemen, a dangerously unstable country that is clearly unprepared to accept and monitor and rehabilitate these detainees. Given that more than 15% of released detainees have returned to terrorism, this release will have dangerous consequences for the American people. It's not beyond the imagination that there will be an article in the paper several months from now that somebody who was at Guantanamo from Yemen, released by Eric Holder, goes back to Yemen and kills an American citizen or is involved in an act of terrorism. Combined with al-Qaeda's growing strength and presence in Yemen, this release is concerning. As our State Department noted in the 2008 country reports on terrorism, quote, the security situation in Yemen deteriorated significantly over the past year as al-Qaeda in Yemen increased its attacks against Western and Yemeni government institutions. What is Eric Holder and the Justice Department, what are they thinking about? Surely there must be a better solution, one that won't release detainees from Guantanamo who are involved in activity against American military who have served time with Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, to send them back to Yemen. Earlier today, I wrote Attorney General Eric Holder to urge that no additional detainees be released to Yemen or other unstable countries. The deadline to close Guantanamo Bay is no excuse to expedite the release of Yemeni detainees, especially if the country, as it is unprepared to take responsibility for them. The decision to release a detainee requires due diligence. It cannot be undone. While we may have a difference of opinion on how best to deal with the situation in Guantanamo Bay, I think, I hope, I believe that we can all agree that a rush release of terrorist detainees, people who have served with Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, should not be released back into Yemen when it is so destabilized. What is this Obama administration thinking? What is Eric Holder thinking? I urge members of Congress to have hearings and for Eric Holder to cease and desist any returnees back to Yemen. And with that, yield back the balance of my time.
Gentlemen,